Janet, explain this to me right away. What's wrong with this mess in the kitchen? What's with the kitchen? I don't understand what you're talking about. Just tell me what happened. I can't believe it. Now you're officially a member of the family. So you don't have to do anything, right? How could you be such a lazy creature to ignore the stupid mess in the sink? I told you to do it yesterday, but you haven't completed it by now. Having you in this house is such a burden. Oh my gosh. How dare you talk to me with that voice? Stop it. Don't you know you're being rude? I'm your sister-in-law. So what? It makes absolutely no sense. Haha. It's funny for you to think that way. To me, you're nothing but a useless moron. You're so lazy that you can't even wash the dishes. I'm busy with my work right now. I can't come home before 6 p.m. this afternoon. So could you just lend me a hand and deal with that? I know you can, right? Holy crap. You're the most despicable woman I've met in my whole life. How could you ask me that question? You think that your stupid work can be a perfect excuse for your laziness? Oh no. I'll never do anything for you. Just do it yourself before I tell this to Mom. She's punishing you hard for this. Ugh, I can't understand why you could be here. You're not worth it. Why am I here? I married your brother Barry. I didn't have a problem with living with your father and taking care of him. My grandfather was in the military too. I know how veterans sometimes have a rough time back in civilian life. Barry told me how tough it was when your mother passed away. And I don't mind helping out around the house. I didn't even mind the fact that you were still living at home. The house is big enough for everyone to have a little space of their own. But I'm not here to do everything, so you don't have to lift a finger. You just don't get it, do you? Shall I spell it out for you? As long as you're under our roof, you are expected to do as you're told. We have allowed you to live here out of the goodness of our hearts. You seem to have forgotten that you are freeloading on the backs of our kindness. It would do you well to try and remember that we've been very good to you. So don't forget to keep up your end of the bargain. What are you on about? Do you think this is some kind of twisted fairy tale? My brother feeds you and clothes you, right? Most people would be grateful and try to do their best for the family that had taken them in. You, on the other hand, seem to have a cheeky answer for everything and a complaint to go along with it. Know your place, Janet. I didn't get married to become this family's housemaid. I married Barry knowing that his mother had passed away and that his father needed special care because of his wounds. I most certainly didn't expect to be treated like Cinderella by some wicked stepsister. I don't care what you expected. This is my house, and you will abide by my rules while you're here. I should make you pay for my medical bills. All the stress you've caused me since you've moved in here is taking a horrible toll on my well-being. What? You do realize that if I even did consider giving you money, you'd be extorting your brother and not me, right? You've made me lose great wads of hair, and I had to buy a special Himalayan growth serum. I've also had to increase my time at the spa each week. Mario at Prestige Massage says the knots in my backs and shoulders are a direct reaction to the stress of having you in my house. He recommends daily massages and saunas. My back especially needs a lot of work, he says. And it's not cheap, you know. The oil he uses, a source from a tiny plantation in the Amazon that only 2 people know about. The ingredients are taken by horse to a witch doctor, who then takes them the 300 miles up the Amazon in a canoe to an airfield from which they are flown directly to California. Mario knows one of the farmers, so he gets most of their supply. It's incredibly expensive. And then there's the aromatherapy and the personal trainer too. All these things add up, Janet. I'm on the waiting list for a famous homeopathist too. She's highly recommended by Mario. Haha, they saw you coming. If you think I'm paying for any of that new age rubbish, you're going to be disappointed. It's no laughing matter. I need about $10,000, and as soon as possible. If you pay up and give the housework your all, I'll let you continue living here for free. I wonder what Barry's reaction will be to all of this. He might lose his cool and throw you out. How would that be? I can assure you that my brother will take my side. We've always been thick as thieves, Barry and I. When I showed him all the invoices for therapy, it was his idea to ask you for the money. He even suggested asking for 20 grand. He said that, did he? My husband told you to try and swindle his wife out of 20 grand. Somehow your story lacks a little validity. Of course, we both know that you don't have that sort of money. Barry said he'll introduce you to a friend of his who can organize a loan. No fuss, no background checks, nothing. Just make sure you pay it back, or let's just say you don't want to fall behind on payments. That's your husband saying that sounds like your marriage is heading for stormy waters. You're unbelievable. Have you noticed Barry has been really on edge recently? The smallest things seem to send him into a rage. Using chainsaw to scare away those Jehovah's Witnesses the other day? Overkill. Well, it turns out the inheritance he was counting on doesn't exist. Dad's veteran pensions only covered living expenses. And the rest he either poured down his throat or we don't know. But there isn't anything left for Barry to inherit, except the house. But the construction company he started is doing well. What about that? It must be worth quite a bit. Barry told me he turned down the last offer to buy him out. The shareholders all wanted him to sell Earthworks Inc. I'm surprised he didn't. Barry is dead keen to sell. It's only been 6 months since he took over the reins from our father. And he's not cut out for the construction industry. Barry is more the book and pen type. He can't get along with the work team bosses, and he hates visiting building sites. Oh, so as soon as he can find a buyer, he's going to sell and start a new company. Women's high fashion, apparently. Nothing could be further removed from the dust and filth of the construction industry. Barry said he'll cut me in as a silent partner. Well, it was Daddy's company after all. I haven't heard anything about this from Barry. Seems like there are some serious trust issues there. I'd be very worried if I were you. Maybe they just thought they were a little old. You wouldn't understand. Or maybe they just thought you should stick to cleaning. I find it hard to believe that Barry would go ahead with such big plans without discussing it with me. What does that tell you? They don't consider it worth their time, including you. How does that make you feel? Disillusionment? Despair? Or maybe both? Haha, it really doesn't matter. Things are looking pretty grim for you. Best you just accept your lot. Put your head down and be the best little housekeeper you can be. Leave the important things to those of us who know what we're doing. And if you can't toe the line, you know where the door is. We took you in, so you'd better earn your keep. Got it. Loud and clear. What? Really? I thought you were impossibly stupid and unable to grasp even the simplest concepts. That's wonderful then. Right. I'll leave you to it then. Thought that might take a bit more shouting before you understood. No, I understand. Great. You see, a laugh and a smile and everything is okay again. If everyone knows their place, we'll all get along swimmingly. Oh, and the money by the end of the week. Please. I want to be sure to book my spots at the spa next month. They need the cash up front. They're having a few problems with the online payment system, Mario says. If you need to take out a loan, have a word with Barry. He knows a guy. Hey, Janet. What's happening with the cash? I thought we'd agreed that you'd pay me by the end of the week. Cash, okay? No bank transfers. I'm not giving you anything. What? Hang on. We had a deal. I said 1 week, and you said okay. What gives? Don't try to weasel your way out of it now. Quit messing around, would you? I need that money today. You're the one who's messing around, trying to force your brother's wife into paying you? For what? Some figment of your imagination? You aren't getting a cent. Wow. You've got a nasty way of talking back to people, haven't you? Since when do you give the orders around here? I made it perfectly clear where you stood in this family. At the bottom. If you can't be quiet and get on with your chores, then you'll soon find yourself divorced and kicked out. I got divorced yesterday. What are you talking about? Have you been drinking? You can't just get divorced. These things take time, money, and a lot of back and forth with lawyers. You're obviously in a very unstable mental state at the moment. Shall I call Mario and see if he can fit you in today? He's not cheap, oh heavens no. But he will help you relax and maybe return to your normal state of mind. A while ago, I had a big fight with Barry. We managed to sort it out, obviously, and things went back to normal. Well, not normal, but they went back to the situation we were in now. The fight lasted a few days, and during the most heated moment, Barry threw divorce papers at me. He had already signed them. He was in such a rage. I wonder if that was the end of our marriage right there and then. He finally calmed down, and I think he forgot all about the papers. But I didn't. I kept them. I don't know why, but I just thought they might come in handy one day. So when you started trying to extort ridiculous amounts of money out of me, I signed those papers and took them to City Hall. I knew it would cause all kind of problems, and Barry would probably try and stop me. So I did it yesterday when he was out of town. That's another thing. His business trips. He calls them that. But I know he's just off having fun on the company's dime. How can he always come back from business trips with a tan and a crippling hangover? There's usually sand in his clothing too. I'm not that stupid. His passport is full of stamps from Mexico and the Caribbean. You two must think I'm a total idiot. You really got divorced? Sure did. So any further attempts to squeeze me for money will have to be done in a court of law. I know as long as I'm in this house, I'll be treated like a maid by you. And I don't know what to make of Barry. He hasn't treated me like anything these last months. He hardly even talks to me. So getting a divorce was the easiest thing I've ever done. I can't wait to get as far away from you two as possible. But you said, got it loud and clear. I was surprised, but over the moon that you were finally seeing things from a more overall perspective. I thought things might settle down finally in this house. I tried talking to him about the company and about you, but he refused to let me get a word in. I think he loves you more than me, which is super weird. I asked him outright why he married me. And do you know what he said? He said he married me so there would be someone to look after his sick father and clean the house. The second I heard that, I saw everything so clearly. No more wondering if he was just too busy at the moment, wondering if he loved me or not. I understood. So I decided right there and then to divorce him. So get out! Get out now! Don't waste another second. I'm serious. If I see your smug little face again, I don't know what I might do. You've been a freeloader all this time. Now you aren't even family anymore. You have no right to be here a minute longer. Get out! How dare you try and freeload off us? I think you'll find that you are the freeloader, and that it's you who needs to get out. You rude little... What are you talking about? I said get out. You don't think this house is yours, do you? Ha! Oh, you're in for the shock of your life. What the heck are you talking about? This is my family's house. Now, get out. I hate to be the one to tell you. Actually, no, I'm enjoying this. I can't tell a lie. This house is mine. It's in my name. You better tell me what the hell you're talking about. My father bought this house. We've lived here for years. Explain yourself. And make it quick. I've got a good mind to go over there and thrash you within an inch of your life. Exactly what I said. There's no hidden meaning. I own this house. The deed is in my name. I bought it, so it's actually mine. No. What the hell? My father bought this house decades ago, while you were still in diapers. This is our house. You'd better shut your filthy mouth and get the hell out of here. I'm calling the police. You're a freeloader. Get the hell out. Go ahead. Call him. Your father asked me to buy the place, so I did. Go on. Call the cops. That'll save me having to explain anything. You'll have to explain, though. And when you're done screaming, you might calm down enough to accept the truth. Please call them. I need them to evict an intruder. Wait a minute. What are you saying? This is all too confusing. You aren't as smart as you think you are you? Okay, I'll lay it all out for you. Just before your father died last year, he told me that his company was going under. They were just a few months away from filing for bankruptcy. Yes, but Daddy had a sudden angel investor who gave a no-strings-attached loan to buy the latest equipment and get things back up and running again. Yep. And who do you think that investor was? I can't believe we're having such a stupid conversation. You sound insane. You're going to need more than just a massage and some aromatherapy. This is going to take a straitjacket and leeches. Right? Yes. Anyway, your father asked me to buy the house so he could buy all that new equipment. This is the most ludicrous story I have ever heard. Why would he ask you? And I'm supposed to believe you're somehow filthy rich? How is that possible? If you must know, I took out what my parents left me and put most of it into a little company I thought would do well. It did so well, in fact, that I never had to work again. It gave me the financial independence to invest in more and more companies I thought had potential. The dividends alone are enough to live on, but I seem to have a knack for spotting potential 10-baggers, and I thought you were a simpleton. So you're some kind of a genius investor. More luck than genius. And I never invest in a company without doing a thorough dig into their background. But yeah, that's where the money comes from. I don't want the extra attention, so I never flash my money around. Then when I saw your father's company circling the drain, I offered to help. So you bought the house? Why? He wouldn't just take my help. Maybe because it was his company that had built from nothing. Maybe it was his pride. Something about being a man, I don't know. But he flat out refused to hang out. So to make him accept it, I offered to buy the house. At that time, he was still alive, and Barry and I were still newlyweds. It made sense. I just kept quiet about it. Even Barry doesn't know. So the house really belongs to you. Yes, that's what I'm seeing. So it was actually me who was letting you live here out the kindness of my heart. Anyway, you're wasting time when you should be packing. The sooner you start, the sooner you can be gone. Wait a minute. What is going to happen to Barry's new company? You mean his idea to mortgage the house and use the money to start his clothing company? That's gone out the window, hasn't it? Up in smoke. You can't mortgage what isn't yours. Oh, and by the way, that company Barry thinks he inherited, you two should probably check the name of the ownership papers. No way. Yeah. So you won't be selling anything without my consent. Barry is the president, in name only. It's registered in my name. This can't be happening. Daddy didn't say anything to us about it because you weren't there to listen when the company was in trouble. When he was sick, you two were always too busy. I was always there to help him into his wheelchair, or to help him to the bath, or to remind him to take his medicine. Barry was always on business trips, and you were flushing money down the drain with your new age spa nonsense. I was at his side when he took his last breath. In the end, he called his lawyers and signed everything over to me. I was the only one who was there for him. That wily old devil. Barry doesn't know he's meeting with the other partners of his new business today. Oh, God. He's taken a huge loan from his friend. And that friend is not the kind of person you want to mess around with. Oh, God, indeed. That friend. I'm guessing she isn't your regular bank manager then? So putting two and two together, Barry has got on taking a big loan from some crook? I'm guessing that must be the case. Because a bank would, of course, do a thorough check of the company's financial situation, assets, etc. They would, of course, have seen that neither the company nor the house were in Barry's name. No, the loan is from a friend. I'm sure it's okay. What shall we do? Nothing to do with me anymore. I signed the loan contract with Barry. I'm in this too. Well, you're a partner, aren't you? You share the risk with him? Yeah, but that's when we thought we could use the house as collateral. What are we supposed to do now? The whole business plan was based on selling the house and business. Oh God, it's all melting before my eyes. Yeah, you should have talked to me sooner. How was I to know? You didn't say anything. Daddy didn't either. Now we have no company or house. Just a big debt. Look, the first thing you should do is pay back that loan as quickly as possible. I mean, seriously. The interest on those types of loans is going to make your life very difficult. It's like a never-ending cycle of financial torture. And let me tell you, if you miss even a single payment, oh boy, brace yourself for that interest rate to shoot up. That's just how those people operate, you know? Ugh, Janet, can you please spare me the lecture? The money is already gone. We went ahead and spent it all on setting up the new business shop. You know, interior design, stocking up on inventory, and hired some fresh-faced staff members. Well, 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 look at what we have here. You really have gone and screwed things up, haven't you? I mean, if I was a religious person, I'd say some good old karma coming back to bite you in the rear. Your grand plans? Yeah, they're pretty much toast now. Looks like you're gonna be swimming in a sea of debt with no life raft in sight. Janet, I've made a horrible mistake. I can't even begin to express how deeply and truly sorry I am. I didn't know it was gonna turn out like this. I was just awful to you, and I regret every bit of it. Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? Or maybe forget it? Barry, he only thinks about himself. But please, Janet, I'm begging you, forgive me. Fine, fine, I'm not even angry. What, really? You forgive me? Just like that? Yeah, I forgive you. I mean, life's too short to hold grudges, right? But here's the deal, dearie. Just get out of my house. You and Barry, you belong together. You're like two peas in a pod. Worthless scum. And trust me, I don't want to have to see either of you for any longer than absolutely necessary. So how much longer are you planning on trespassing on my land? Once they realized they couldn't keep living in the city, the story takes place. They packed up and disappeared overnight. They had no hope of ever paying back the loan shark, so they fled rather than face the possible violent consequences of loan forfeit. Some say they went to live in a tiny fishing village in Maine. Others say New Brunswick or even up into Canada. Wherever they end up, they will be living under an alias to avoid suspicion. From time to time, I get a letter begging for forgiveness, and of course, to help pay the loan shark. The letters are always posted from a different place, always along the US-Canada border. Maybe they're always on the move. It's a vast and wonderful country full of hundreds of little towns to disappear into. But I've stopped reading the letters, and now I just throw them straight into the trash. I did get a visit from Barry's loan shark friend once. He and his thugs tried to get me to pay the loan back. A little digging showed they weren't connected to any real mob or cartel. The ringleader was just a punk Barry went to high school with. He didn't have any real power in the city. I mentioned it to a few of the boys in my construction company, and, well, let's just say one day that creep had an office, and the next he was a pile of ashes. Of course, I'll never let them hear about this. As far as I'm concerned, they can spend the rest of their lives on the run. As for the company I bought from Barry's father, I was worried I wouldn't be cut out for the harsh reality of running a construction enterprise. It turns out I'm actually pretty good. I'm actually thriving. That's two things I'm good at. Oh, and facing down wicked sister-in-laws. Little by little, the company is getting back on its feet. And we've just got the contract to rebuild the football stadium. I hope Barry's father is up there looking down on me and smiling. I hope he's glad he had me to rely on.